naked shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. All right. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Time here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm Iggy Garcia, and I want to welcome everybody to the Naked Shaman, Iggy Garcia, here live on the internet, live around the world. Today our show is going to be about miracles. So I'm really going to ask people to kind of call in or suggest to type me in some things about, things that happened to them, some miracles that happened in their lives. But today I just want to light this candle. This candle is the orange candle. It represents creativity, justice, legal matters, joy, ambition, opportunity, and celebration. So let's remember everybody in our families, in our lives. Try to light a candle, especially on Mondays. It's tradition in Latin American tradition to light candles for our family members who have transitioned and passed away, in ordering them to transition into the new spaces of heaven or wherever they go. Usually it's they go into purgatory. So the Catholic belief is that there's a purgatory, and that's our waiting space for us to be called into heaven. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm just lighting a candle, the orange one, to honor and to hold space for my loved ones and my ancestors and acknowledge their existence for being here on this planet. So this candle will burn through the evening. But also we like to also light some sage. This is actually sage with lavender. So this is a nice blend that my friend Adriana taught me how to do a while back. She mixed them too. It almost smells like vanilla. When you light it, it smells pretty good. So I love that smell. Clear the energy. Ground us a little bit here, or a lot. Get us our energy into the right frame of mind, right focus, be where we need to be. Feels really good. I love this stuff. For those of you who make your own sage, this is a nice blend to consider making. Lavender and sage. Good stuff. We'll let that burn through the evening there. I'm going to move this over here so it's not in my way. And I'll light that from time to time. But, yeah, so hopefully everybody's doing okay. Everybody's doing well. Let's see. Just make sure all my connections are on par there. It looks like they are. Looks like we're doing good. So, yeah, really good. I want to say hello to everybody who's online. I believe I see Jan is on there. Lonnie's on there. There's a few other people on there. So, just want to say hi to you guys. Give you little likes and say hello to you. I want to welcome everybody to the show. We are here. We are live. And we're going to be talking a little bit about just life in general. That's kind of how it works. We try to get on the ideas of what's happening in the world, and there's a lot going on right now energetically in this big blue marble. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of anxiety. There's been a lot of transits, and there's been a lot of astrological events happening. So we're going into a lot of retrogrades and a lot of planet stationings and stuff. So those of you who are into that understand what I'm talking about. I don't claim to be an astrologer because I'm not. If you were here last week on the show, my friend Mark Matheny was here. He was explaining a little bit of what was happening, what was going on, and can explain why we're all feeling kind of the way we are. Just because, there's a lot happening energetically there in outer space, in out there space. So for me, I had a good weekend. Kind of hung out with my friends, and we were doing the free hugs there, camping at a Confest, and then did some other events as well. and we kind of hung out and just kind of had fun with it. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about just our own individual lives and how we are moving through life and what we're doing and what's happening and what's going on and what miracles happen in your life. What miracles are going on in your life that you would want to share with the group. If you want to call me, it's 646-595-3440. That's the call-in number. If you want to come online on the camera, I can bring you on the camera as well. We can talk on this camera. I can bring you on, and we can do that as well. But the thing is, miracles are miracles everywhere. And if you've been around me long enough, you know that one of my favorite sayings is that we're all miracles. You're all a miracle. Each one of us is a miracle. Just the sheer chance of us being able to be here, every single one of us, is a miracle in itself. And the way that plays out, because it's a, what, 1,000,000,001 chance that you're going to make it out of all that, all that chaos that happens as your, parents are having sex and they're doing the thing, and then the egg meeting the sperm and how many sperms, and it's a very fine line between which sperm breaks the barrier and, gets the touchdown or whatever you want to call it, gets to the egg and gives its genetic code to the next offspring. It's a very fine line. It's very close. It's very, it's very, sometimes just a matter of milliseconds before one or the other breaks that barrier. So if life can be hard and life is difficult, I guess that's a good way to look at it, that, that you are a miracle in yourself. That you are that person, that you're not just by chance. There's no chance in what you are and how you got here. Why you're here is yet to be determined. And until the very last breath you take, you're still creating. You're still developing. You're still doing your thing. So you never stop. And I know sometimes in life can be very hectic and can be very crazy and can seem very cumbersome at times. But there's also some really amazing things that happen in life. We have the opportunity to, define and redefine who we are and how we interpret ourselves and how we look at ourselves and how other people may see us. And people always see us completely different how we see ourselves, and that's normal, and that'll always be, even to the day we die. But the miracle is that we have the opportunity to change how we perceive ourselves. The perceptions of how we perceive ourselves are probably more important than how other people see us. But as human beings, we have that vulnerability where we like to know how other people see us and how other people feel about us. And that's important to us, because that's how we can actually gauge, how we're moving through life and how things are happening and what we're doing and how we're moving and what's going on. And for a lot of us, we're not able to, break those two things apart and be able to see them differently. But I'm here to tell you that, it's part of the journey. It's part of the process of being a human being to have ups and downs, to go through these things. But in the process, there's things that happen to us. There's things that occur to us. There's things that, happen to us that, just don't have any explanation. They just don't have any way of, making sense. There's no concise, way to interpret what just occurred, what is happening. And, for many of us, we go through life, wondering how we got here and how we survived. Some of you, I'm sure tons of you here online are able to give me tons of stories about things that happened to you, things that occurred to you, things that would just defy, physics, defy, reality, and all kinds of stuff, and how that would work out. But for those of you who want to share, and those of you who are willing and open to, want to talk about that, you can call me at 646-595-3440, or I can bring you online as well. I can bring you online through the camera feature on the camera feature there on Facebook. So you let me know. Just type in that you want to have a conversation with me and share with me, and that'd be great. But I'm going to start this story out, and I'm going to have to burn a little more sage, because the story's pretty deep and pretty profound. Yeah, because I really need to stay grounded in this process, because when we're talking about these kind of things, it's super, super important that you feel that, you're able to release, because part of sometimes going through a miracle stage and a miracle in your life, it could come across kind of traumatic. It can come across very, very powerful, very strong. And the story that I'm going to share with you, so we can get the ball rolling a little bit, is about how I ended up on this plane and how I ended up on this 3D world with you, and how we're all connected, and how life works its things out. If some of you who follow me a little bit on Facebook, you probably saw that I posted a video not too long ago. I think it was last week, I believe it came out. And this video was about a baby who was born by cesarean section, okay, C-section. And, but the embryonic sac didn't break. It didn't bust, so the baby was still inside. So if you catch that video, let me see if I can pull it up here and give you the exact date so you can find it, because it's really interesting, because it goes along with the story that I'm about to tell you. The story about how Iggy Garcia ended up here on planet Earth. Okay, so see if I can pull that up real fast, and I think I'm getting closer to it. And I think, let's get past the Space Force stuff that we put up here. And, yeah, where are you? Where are you, article? Because that article resonates with me. Resonates with me a lot. A lot. Because it's kind of my story. It's kind of my story. So, there it is. I found it. Okay, that was June 20th. I think I shared it at 7:42. And, the story is, this is the best example that I can give you about how delicate life is, how delicate things are with each one of us. Okay, and I share my stories because sometimes our stories are similar. You might find, oh yeah, Iggy, that happened to me too. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I never knew that was even possible. And there's a lot of things we don't know that are possible. They just happen. So I'm going to take you back in time, because my dad, this is the reason I want to do the shows, because my dad kind of brought it up the other day, and we were driving, and we were going to the bank, to his credit union, the Kimba Credit Union down on High Street, which he's part of another credit union. They have a co-op where they do stuff, but they wouldn't take his money. They wouldn't do a co-op because there was something wrong with his account or whatever. To make a long story short, I decided, well, let's go to your other credit union. It's on the other side of town. It's a little further away, but he wasn't treated right. He didn't feel well, and how they took care of him. And so we ended up going to Hilliard Rome Road. There's credit unions over there, and we deposited the money and whatever. But as we were driving there, and this is where the story comes in, he started talking about how he was on a vacation. We're on a little trip in some part of Peru there, and my mom was having these severe pains, and the nearest hospitals were not close, because people like to go to the hospitals they're familiar with, kind of like their dentists or whatever they go to. They like to keep everything very close, and they like to be in proximity of where they are. So he made it all the way back. He remembered telling me he was carrying my mom. He was carrying my mother, and she still had like 4 months to go in her pregnancy, and he's carrying her down this hill, and he gets on the because my mom was her appendix was about to rupture, and the doctor wasn't sure if he could save me in that process. He didn't know if that was even a possibility. And so they took a chance. They took, they had to take the appendix out. So there was no getting away from that. So they ended up taking me in this and I was still in the sack, the embryonic sac, and I was in there, and luckily it didn't break. And they would kick me in a solution that was kind of warm, and this warmth, keeps you, keeps you alive. You're alive. You're still connected. And they're having this surgery on my mom at the same time. And as they're having a surgery on taking out her appendix before it ruptures, because it was about to explode, my dad said. And I'm outside the body. I'm outside her body, and there was no guarantee that I would survive. I still had 4 more months to go. There was 4 more months to go. And that 4 months, I was still developing, as a baby. And then after the surgery, they had to put me back in. They still didn't know if that would survive, because just because the way there's fluid build up, and then there's swelling and all kinds of things. And so they put me back in, and I survived. And so for my mom and dad, I'm their miracle. I'm kind of like their miracle child. I survived this operation. Survived. It's probably a normal thing nowadays, but in that time, my dad said it wasn't very common. It was very risky. And here I am. And those are the miracles that I'm talking about. Life. Why does someone get the chance to keep moving on, keep able to do the things they need to do, or be able to be in that place? I could easily perish, but I didn't. So the story's not about me if I perish or wouldn't. The story is that at that particular moment, through prayer and through ceremony and through all the different things that my father and my mother did, I was able to sustain and still be alive. I came out of the womb, entering light, entering, everything. I don't even know what I remember. I can't really remember what was going on, because probably too small, too young. But all that was happening to me. All that stuff was going on with me at that moment in time. I was going through this process, this metamorphosis, and this change. My mom is struggling to stay alive, and to keep me from, dying, and that's a miracle. And I guess that's what I'm talking about, miracles. And I know some of you have stories about how you survived. There are other stories that I have too, and I don't want to be the only one sharing stories tonight. But miracles happen all the time. I was watching a YouTube video where my grandma and her grandson were walking down the road on a snow-covered day, and this car lost control and hit the ice patch, and they both got run over, by the car. And you're watching the video, and you're watching, you're going, oh my God, how is this possible? What are they going to do? How are they going to survive? But they both survived. The little boy had no injuries whatsoever. The grandmother had sustained a little bit of injury, but other than that, she was pretty fine. Destiny's one of the things, when's our number called? And I was thinking, man, how'd they survive that? They weren't, was it because of the snow, the ice? I don't know, but it was just amazing. It's just, those are the miracles in life. Those are those things that you can't explain. Those are those things that just happen to people all the time. You hear stories about people all the time getting stranded, and then all of a sudden an angel appears. An angel could be somebody who just comes at the right time, at the right moment, and helps them with their car or whatever. And the thing is, we don't live in those worlds anymore like we used to, where we expect things to, for miracles and things to happen. I'm hoping that, we are able to share our stories, and by sharing our stories, we can grow, and we can share, we can do things, and move into that space where we will allow things to happen and allow things to, manifest and create. Just think about it. You as a miracle, you are a miracle in yourself, and you are here, and you create miracles just by being who you are and inviting people into your life. And people who are into your life, they're able to do things and function and do and accept and feel. Okay, so either way, those are miracles. And I know my mom's had tons of things that happened to her, and my poor mother, she's since passed, but she's had so many things that she shouldn't have been able to get as far as she has in life as she has, and she did. And there's countless stories, but I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what you have to share. I want to see what you have, because by sharing your stories with us, we can learn from one another, and we can learn. And by doing that, we can share. This Wednesday coming up at my sage place, we're going to be talking around the fire. We're going to be talking and sharing stories, and that's at 6 to 9:30. We're going to be there talking and sharing and being in ceremony with one another and doing the things that we want to do and sharing the things we want to do. But each one of us is here, and we all have a destiny. We all have a purpose, and that purpose is, to tell our story. And by sharing our stories, we do well. And when we share our stories, it gives hope to other people, and other people have tons of stories to share. I know that I have tons of stories to share, and those stories that I share are, for me, they're magical to me, and maybe they're not magical to you, but they are important, and they are vital. So, with that, I just want to say, give me a call at 646-595-3440, and maybe we can talk a little bit. You can tell me your story and share your story, get you online. And I'd be really surprised if nobody calls and doesn't have a magical story or how they were able to circumvent or able to survive or be part of or just witness something. I mean, a miracle isn't something that just has to be something where it just affects you. A miracle could be things that happen on the grand scale, where we watch, things, develop and things, come out and become better. Either way, that's what I wanted to share with you today about miracles. That miracles they're everywhere when we look. And when those miracles occur and when those miracles happen, they change us forever. They are able to, to put us in a frame of mind that completely changes us, completely opens our heart, completely opens our spirit to feel that. Now, I don't want to make it or cheapen or anything, but it is, a miracle is one of those things that just, it defies everything that we know about how we see the world and how things aren't supposed to be or how things shouldn't work out, but they do. And that's what's really cool about, when we allow things like that to come into our lives. And we have to be open to the process of inviting miracles into our lives and to witness things. Some people think that's just destiny, that's the way things are going to be. I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think it's very simple and very quick, yes, but the miracles that we create are the miracles that are inside of our spirit and our soul, and the things that we manifest and create. Each day, just waking up each day is a miracle. Each day is for some people, it's one of the most amazing things to do. For other people, it's just something normal. But some of us have some very serious ailments and some very serious things that, we're grateful to just wake up the next day and say, hey, you know what? I'm here. I'm taking my next breath. And that's important. So think about what may happen in your life. You may say, hey, well, Iggy, and I don't remember anything really happened to me like that. I don't remember anything of that caliber going on in my life. Well, maybe there is. Maybe there are some things that have occurred in your life that you just maybe don't remember, and some things that you probably don't want to share because you probably don't think it's a miracle. But miracles are very unique, very special, and they're very personal, and I understand that. And by them being very personal, meaning that they're ingrained in our spirit and our soul, and they're part of who we are and how it molds us and how it creates and how it puts us in that frame of mind. Miracles are one of those things, and it's pretty powerful. So I just want you to just be able to share that moment with you, and I wanted to share that story with you because I thought it was really powerful. Because as my dad was telling me that story, I was driving and I had to pull over because I was just too emotional. I just started crying. It was too much energy to take in and to share and to talk about. And I hope that I'm able to process and transition to the things that I have to with the loss of my mom. And I know she's been on my mind a lot lately, and there's been a lot going on in my life lately that has caused a lot of, energetically, for me to feel a certain way, to, just feel disconnected from the people that are in my life. But, the people in my life are important, and the people who challenge my life, and I want to say hello to everybody. And, people who challenge my life are very, are just as important. And, there's been a lot of things, I've seen personally have seen angels. I've seen things happen to people. I've seen where people have just spontaneously healed. I've seen where people have created, a better scenario for themselves just because they believed. And this is the time where we have to believe in miracles again. This is a time where we have to, say, hey, you know what? There is more. There is more to this, and I'm going to embrace and invite miracles into my life. Because without them, we just go through life, and it's just every day. And I try to look for the smallest things. Sometimes just watching a flower bloom for me is a miracle, and watch that process occur. It's very powerful. But today's kind of a bizarre world moment for me. Like last week was a little hard for me. It was a little tough. It was just seemed like there was a lot happening, a lot going on. And tomorrow I get to drum with a bunch of kids tomorrow in Mount Orba, Ohio. We're gonna be doing a drum circle there, and a lot of these kids have never been around drum circles. So for me, that's an opportunity to share, my story, my medicine, my miracles, my life stories with them. And I'm not really looking for anything particular. I just want to have the process play out and do what it needs to do. Because it's amazing when you watch these kids. And kids, it doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter if they're rich, poor, middle class. When you put that drum out there, it just creates synergy. And that synergy and that co-creation starts to work. So those are the miracles that I run into. And I've had tons of miracles where I've seen people just spontaneously their lives change because of the drumming that I facilitate. I've seen people who haven't been able to function, and just because someone cared and someone reached out, someone wanted to make a difference in their life, that changed their life. And so I'm grateful that I'm part of those opportunities and part of those situations to be able to see people go through that and work through that process. So I just want to say, I don't have a whole lot to say today. I don't have a whole lot to talk about today. Sometimes we're like that. Sometimes we get in that place and we get into that space. But I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. I know this is probably going to be a short show, but when you're not in the flow, when you're not in that rhythm, you can't really fake it. And I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to pretend like things are good. I'm going to just say thank you for listening to what I had to share, even for this little half hour, because it means a lot to me. It's important to me. And I don't know. You guys just be well. Do what you have to do. I'm going to cut the live stream off. And I'm going to go right into another show on the radio, because I'll continue there. But those of you on the live stream, I want to say bye to you guys. Love you very much. Thanks for...